How are we doing tonight?
We're doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. My computer crashed on me today. Actually, my Google crashed and messed everything up, but it took me forever to fix it.
That's so good.
Yeah, so I spent the last couple of hours. Stupid plugins don't work right sometimes with the Google. So anything exciting? Anything new? Anybody want to share?
Found out I'm having a baby girl.
Congratulations.
Thanks. This is baby 2.
Baby 2.
Yeah.
I have 3 that I know about. All boys.
I bet that was fun.
Yeah. No girls. Wanted a baby girl, but I didn't have one. Because I just don't have that X chromosome in me. I tried blaming my wife, but she made it abundantly clear that it was my chromosomes that determine the sex.
Yep. It's our fault.
So it's our fault. Yeah. All right. So we only got 35 people. Is everybody taking a long dinner tonight? What's the deal? Randy's eating while he's at class. That's good.
I might step away to grab some food.
That's fine. So I'm going to talk very, very shortly today, let you know what's going on, and then I'll give you a few minutes to ask any questions, and then we'll get right into the presentations. All right, 40 out of 60 something, that's still missing about 20 people. Victoria, where did you get those flowers?
Hobby Lobby.
That's where my wife got them. She made me put up like 20 of them on the wall.
Yeah, my dad wasn't happy when I made him put up all my stuff on all my walls.
Wasn't too happy about that. Then the latest thing is you got the pictures with the 2 hooks on one on each side, right?
Yep.
So they're never even because the people who make them never put them on evenly. So I actually found a tool that will actually adjust and measure it and make it level. So
my dad cheats and uses wire and puts it through the 2.
Yeah, I've done that too before. All right. Shall we get started? Let's give it one more minute, 7:04, and then we'll get started. No wine today, but rum and coke always works good. Bacardi 151, fire bombs.
That's going to be fun tonight.
I know, huh? All right. So let's see here. Oh, I didn't open up my my PowerPoint yet today, or this afternoon. All right. So, like I said, very short, and then we're going to get into presentations. All right, so we're at week 8, so that means we got 2 more weeks left. So the midterm is graded. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me now, or if you need to not have everybody else hear what you're saying, you can ask me later, make an appointment. Pretty much everybody scored in the 90th percentile. So everybody scored above 90 except for one group who turned in their assignment late. I don't know why they turned it in late, but they did. Okay, so I'm going to go over what we're going to do for the next two classes, and then you guys are going to do your presentations. All right, so the range was from 89 to 96 for the midterm. Any questions? Everybody happy about that? I'm a pretty easy grader. All right, so next week you guys have the meetings, right? Starting at 7 o'clock, you have 15 minutes. And basically we're going to go over what I expect you to put on your final report and on your final presentations. And the Google Sheets, you guys know where that's located, right? And that's where all of that stuff is. Okay. Back to sharing. Okay. So next week, week 9, no paper, no slide deck. Woohoo! Yay! So nothing. All you have to do is show up for the meeting. All right. Okay, June 3rd, which is the last day of class, week 10. Everybody's going to give their 5 to 7 minute presentations. Keep them as short and as brief as possible. You go over 7 minutes, I am going to cut you off. I am not even going to be nice about it. I'm going to go, that's it. I'm going to take the screen away from you and silence you. All right, so no more Mr. Nice Guy. So no more than 7 minutes because we have to go through all 11 groups. So I want to hear what you accomplished. I want to hear what you tried to accomplish, but you didn't, because there's going to be a lot of people who tried to do a lot of things, but they weren't too successful for one reason or another. And I want you to tell me why you weren't successful. There's no shame in that, but I want the rest of the group to know that, hey, we tried doing this, and either the client wasn't very acceptive to it, or maybe it just wasn't possible. You know, this is what we needed to do, but it just wasn't possible due to maybe funds or whatever reason. Okay. How was your relationship with your client? Did you guys bond? Did you make friends? Did they keep you at arm's length? Did they keep it 100% professional? Or did you go to their winery and get drunk? You know, you got to figure out what's going on with the relationship. Okay. And then are they going to use your ideas? So is your client going to actually take your advice? Are they going to get some free good advice from you? Yes or no? What do you think? Okay, and then your final report is going to be for your client, not for me. Okay, the oral report that you're going to do, the presentation, that's for me. So it's not like you've been doing all semester long where both of them are for your client. One is going to be for me, and the final written report is going to be for your client. And you should have all the solutions in there. You should have everything they need to know from now until the end of time. So I want to know who, what, why, where, when, and how. If the how is not there, you're not going to pass this class, because that's the whole purpose of this whole class, is how are you going to help your client, right? So what are you going to do to make their lives more profitable, more successful, more easy on themselves, okay? So that's your final report, and that should wrap up everything in a nice and neat package for your client. And that's going to be due at 11:59 on June 3rd. Okay. So if you have any questions next week, you can ask me now, but next week is what the whole reason why we're meeting, to go over any questions you might have, anything on the group, anything deliverables. Each group is going to have a little bit different deliverable, which is kind of tailored to your situation, particular situation, because everybody's different. Obviously, you know, we're not going to have AI software specifications with the wine grower. Okay, so each thing's going to be a little bit different. You know, the ministry is not going to be the same thing as the women's hats. All right. Questions, concerns? What do you got for me? Tell me now. We're going to do a random number generator, and then whatever number it falls on, that's going to be who goes first. Can you guys see that? Ooh, number 9. Lucky number 9. All right, so number 9, and then we're going to take a 15-minute break sometime this evening. Questions about anything so far? All right, I'm going to sleep for the rest of class. Number 9, you're up. I haven't been getting very good sleep lately. My wife's a bed hug, and she kicks in her sleep. Could be me snoring while she kicks me all the time, but you know, she kicks. Shh, don't say anything. Number 9, you're up.
Uh, can you guys see me yet?
I can see you.
Okay, this is Group 9 weekly report, and last week through the
We
meeting
can
we
see your report. We can see you, but not your report.
okay. Wait me a second, please.
A little green button on the bottom.
Wait me a second, please.
LinkedIn China is who we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
So when I said to get a small or medium-sized business, why did you get LinkedIn?
Can you say that again?
I said when the assignment was to get a small or medium-sized business, you guys got LinkedIn. Why was that?
Just because one of our group member, she used to like to work actually not for work, like get her friend works in it, and she really get interested in the LinkedIn. So we start our topics, and this is why we choose LinkedIn China.
Okay. So you're showing me your paper, which you guys didn't spell check.
Yeah, this is the paper part.
Yeah, I don't want to see the paper. I want to see your slide presentation.
Okay, slide presentation.
Same as we've been doing all quarter long. We're going to give our slide presentation and tell everybody what's going on with our customer.
Excuse me, I just start the presentation yet, or I need to start the what? The report first. Okay, this is our.
Oh, we're only giving slide presentations. We're not giving anything else.
I mean, I just start the presentation, or I need to do the report first.
You're not doing the report at all, just the presentation.
Okay, sure. Okay.
All 6 pages of it, apparently. All right,
Okay.
go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. We are Group 9. Our group member is Cong Zhao, Weihang Zhang, Zhang Hang, Shuyan Huang, and Siqi Cui. And our topic is LinkedIn China project. And this is our product planning. And we will focus on the product planning to realize the transformation of the LinkedIn service to attract the retain more Chinese consumers and gain competitive engage for the multiple. This and our product planning mission is an ongoing process to help LinkedIn China connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. And this is our today's key aspect. There are 5 parts, and now I start the topics. The first is to enhance the efficacy and effectiveness in job recommendation. And the reason for the improvement is the first is the time between the job recommendation are too long. And the next is a new job recommendation after 15 days of the previous recommendation it failed to safety. And the last is the consumer who tends to check LinkedIn job recommendation daily. This is the first topic. And second is the customized different user relative service. And this part actually can divide into 3 parts. The first is the career guidance. Reason for the improvement is the major consumer segment consists of young people aged from 25 to 34. who may have just graduated from the university or lack working experience. Therefore, career suggestions are valuable for them. And next is this service is rarely known and used by Chinese users, as it is selling a position that can hardly be noticed in the LinkedIn application. And the next is the customized different user related service. The second part, the social network management. Specific measure is when a user shares his or her activities on LinkedIn in a form of a post, people who trump up. These posts can be each other's basic information and contact it if needed. And the last part is it can be called a global network. This is it's an application and a website and engage user and a business worldwide to safety Chinese users in need of globalized service in the workplace. And the third part is the content. And the measures is invest in the content ranging from sponges content to use updates, take advantage of the intelligence of its individual and business user to release content in the form of posts in the feed that is useful, professional, and knowledgeable. And the fourth part is go mobile. And the reason we choose the go mobile is some functions on LinkedIn website are missing on the LinkedIn apps. LinkedIn's competitors like in Chinese apps like Maiman and both Zhipin invest much in mobile apps, consider that Chinese people seek convenience in life and work. We consider about this part just because in China, more and more people concentrate on the mobile apps, and several people focus on the computer right now. So many of the competitors, they focus on their sites on the mobile apps. So, and most of the people, they don't need to use the computer anymore. They can just do everything with their cell phone. And the measures integrate service on the website with the mobile application to cater to Chinese users' lifestyles. And actually, for this part, I still prefer to use the computer. I'm not getting used to use the mobile. And the last is to provide a more targeted service based on private potential. And the reason is Chinese users care more about the private online now. And the measures we saw is improve its service to be more targeted at the consumer demand from user browsing and search history using new technology and big data analysis. And this is our group's presentation. Thank you so much. Any questions? Professor, it seems you mute yourself.
Thank you. Group number, I'm not sure what number you are because you didn't put your number on your paper again.
Oh, we are group number 9.
Yeah, I know that. All right. So basically, you're telling me that LinkedIn went into the Chinese market just doing the same thing they always do in the American market, not catering to the different types of culture and things that you guys look for in an app.
Mm-hmm.
So how are they overcoming that big mistake?
How they overcome the mistake is like they try to find what the mistake they make, and LinkedIn actually know their competitors, and LinkedIn China try to like focus on most of the users, and they try to get their like win the customers confidence, and they do more how do you say that, and LinkedIn can do the better details than other apps, and I think this is how LinkedIn attach the Chinese users.
So do you think the LinkedIn did their research before they launched their product in your country, in China?
I think they did, but I don't think they did pretty good. Just like I said from the PowerPoint, more and more Chinese users they prefer to use the mobile apps, but actually in China the mobile apps is not pretty good.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next week, you're going to put your group number on the paper, right? And for your final report, group number on the paper, right? Yeah, good thing. All right, Rays, you're good. You're on. Number 10.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be right here. Let's see. Share. Let me share that. I don't have a problem with this. Share. Okay, let's see here. View. Full screen. Share. Okay. Here. Members of the committee, good afternoon. This is the latest of the updates that I'm giving to this committee. And before I speak about the work done this particular week, I want us to take a quick look into previous updates. And I think some of you, must remember some of the things we've spoken about in the past, but just to be sure that we are all on the same page. So we spoke about the fact that this engagement began in April 7, and it will end in May. To remind you guys that we have just about a week left for this engagement. And I hope it's been informative. We also continue to look at the media, the new media as our goal. Again, this is something familiar with all of you, but I just want to reiterate it. And then also to speak about a possible radio comeback. That is part of what I'm supposed to be doing in this consultancy. Our market continues to be the bi-county catchment of Riverside and San Bernardino County. And then our timelines remain the same to accomplish our objective. April the 9th to May the 13th. That's when we did research on Facebook, YouTube, podcast, blog, and website. May 14th through May 26th, we are doing our research on Zoom, Clubhouse, and radio. In the more recent days, you received my report on Facebook, YouTube, and podcast. Do you have any questions so far? All right, if not, let's look at the second slide. So, as I pointed out last week to this committee, we were going to be looking at blogs and websites. And often when blogs and websites are spoken about, there is sometimes a question in the minds of some people. They wonder whether if you have a website, you really need a blog. And especially if you have one or more of the of the new media already, why would you need a blog? The answer is that it's not redundant. it's not necessarily redundant that you should have a blog just because you have a website. It really depends on, how big your website is. Can your website, accommodate the things you need to do in this church, and at the same time be able to provide space for for blogging? Probably in some instances it might be so, but in some instances it may not, especially if the church is growing and doing more activities. These are going to be presented in a website, and we push out the blog. So a case can be made that you should have a standalone blog platform. And there are some differences between blog and website that you probably want to know as members of this committee. You want to know that websites, for example, they project enduring content and a variety of issues of interest to the church. That blogs, on the other hand, tend to be dynamic in content and more focused on specific issues. And a website can double as a blog, but to some degree. But a blog, in my professional opinion, should not be considered a substitute for a website. It cannot really be. All right, let's move on to the next slide.
You're at 4 minutes.
Oh, that's probably, all right. Adopting blog, there are some issues to consider. Pick a domain name, choose an appropriate niche, get a web hosting account, select a theme and design. And by the way, there are in the full going to have more elaboration of these terms, but I'm just giving this to you guys now so that you have some idea. And then another issue to consider is promoting the blog. It's not just enough to say I have a blog, but are you promoting it? Is it reaching the right audience? All right, slide number 4. Creating a website, you have to consider relevant issues such as selecting a content management system. And people believe that WordPress is the greatest because it's 100% designed, somebody help me here, customizable, and that it is inexpensive. Then you have to think about accessibility to mobile platforms. Today is no time for to have a website that cannot be accessed by people who are using their mobile phones and other mobile devices. Then think scalability. When you are setting up the website, think about the future. What else you might want to put into the website, and then think budget and think about communicating with the audience.
You're at 6 minutes.
Okay, the 5th slide. Okay, we're on cue for Zoom, Clubhouse, and radio for the next update. And finally, the summary. I presented to this committee reiterating previous decisions, and I presented the research on blog and website platforms that need to be considered, and the important factors that need to be considered in creating them. And finally, Zoom, Clubhouse, and radio are in queue for the next presentation. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the committee.
6.5 minutes. All right. So that was to your audience, to your committee, to the committee that you have. That's there, correct. Right? At the church.
Yeah, we learned from you that we're not supposed to be talking to you, but to them. So I said, okay, let's do that today at least once before.
Most of them are over 50, I would imagine, or older.
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, that's why you're explaining. But that's why you're explaining in detail about the blogs and the website and all that other, correct?
I see your point. Yeah.
Okay.
But we have a few of them who are younger.
Because what you're talking about is general knowledge for anybody under 50, basically. Doing a website, how a website and a blog work together and all that other stuff. So this is geared toward your audience, which is good.
Yeah, thank you.
But most of that, you went way over. But other than that, good presentation.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions? All right. Number 1, you're up.
Great.
Number
All
1.
right. 111. Here we go. Hello, Dave. We are here to update you about our weekly progress for Vendimia Winery. And this week, we took a look at how you can leverage some additional new assets and resources to increase your revenue. So the first thing was how to grow your share of wallet. First thing we figured out was source more high quality grapes. Most consumers come into Temecula with a set budget and with a set number of wineries that they would intend to visit. And if you increase your capacity, you can serve more customers. Second thing, expand into weddings. By expanding into weddings, and this validates something you already knew, you can serve more consumers who are demanding things that are common in Temecula, essentially expand your market share. The next thing that we approached was how to hit that sweet spot where you get the highest margins. Now, you are working with a brand called Guy Lemon, which is intended to be kind of bulk retail, which could be potentially lucrative. But Vendimia Winery has gained the brand equity that it has and all of the success that it has up until this point because of what it's known for, which is quality over quantity. So we recommend that you need to separate Guy Lemon from Vendimia to make sure that you preserve the quality that Vendimia is known for. Next thing that we looked at is how to leverage your core competencies.
So
that's where I hand this off.
Thank you. So for your core competencies, Dave, we recommend that you focus on your hot air balloon business, California Dreamin', potentially make marketing bundles with Vendimia, go out for a day ride, and then come back to the winery and get a free tasting or a bottle half off. Anything you can combine both services would be really good for your business. Next slide. Focus on your positioning. When we spoke to you, we talked about how you emphasize quality over quantity. Take pride in that. With the Temecula Valley Wine Growers Association, take pride that you focus on the quality. You don't care so much about aesthetic. You don't care too much about a lot of the other stuff that other wineries in Temecula focus on. Focus on your quality over the quantity. Next slide. Vendimia as an authority, like we just mentioned, focus on quality alliance. Focus on getting more tourism to Temecula. You have Vino Real, leverage that. Get more tourism from Southern California, the Northern Mexico vineyards and the wineries out there to come to Southern California, to come to Temecula, and they can come to Vendimia. Next slide. We did a growth share matrix on your company on Vendimia, so we identify Vendimia as a problem child. So the reason being is that the wine country, especially in Temecula, has had a consistent growth share, but only 7 to 12% of Temecula Valley customers visit Vendimia. So we need to make sure that we increase that market share. Next slide. So for your market share increase, like we just mentioned, focus on increasing your customer base and market share within Temecula Valley. It is a cash absorbing business. You haven't been in profit for 11 years. So perhaps look at different products. Like we just said earlier, leverage California Dreaming so you can increase your sales with your bottle sales and decrease that ratio between your pour off and your bottle sales. Next slide. Your strategy implementation. So like we just mentioned, we recommend exploring new products and bundling options. Perhaps explore new branding opportunities. Maybe you can brand with companies within the area, within another region. Focus on leveraging Vino Real. That's going to help your business grow as we expect it to grow over the next couple of years. Next slide. And your outlook, focus on the quality, stay true to your company identity. Don't focus too much on what the other wineries are doing in Temecula. Just focus on where you're doing and do it at the best rate possible. Next slide. And any questions?
How long was that?
I have questions.
Ooh.
So the Guy Lemon brand, is that like the brand that they're selling to the grocery stores and distribution?
Yes. So they Temecula is a fairly small American viticultural area, so there are very few grapes. And so to create an economic, to create a business that can take advantage of economies of scale, they source bulk grapes from the Central Coast, primarily Santa Ynez, to produce a label that's under Guy Lemon. And they have a really interesting brand scheme. They the back of their label focuses on brutal transparency, all of the ingredients that ever went into winemaking. It's a very cool concept, but it's not Temecula Valley. It's not Temecula Valley fine wine, which is what Vendimia has been positioned, which is how Vendimia Winery has been positioning itself. Up till now, if you go into their tasting room, there's a lot of ambiguity between what is a Guy Lemon wine and what is Vendimia wine. And so what we're recommending is making sure to separate the two. They each have value propositions. They each have very separate, distinct brands that are valuable in their own rights. But Vendimia Winery became Vendimia Winery and has grown the way that it's grown because of its focus on quality over quantity. Guy Lemon is built around quantity over quality. So the experiences need to be better defined and better separated so that consumers know what they're getting with each of the brands.
It's all made on the winery there, though, right? In Temecula?
Correct. Yeah, same
Okay,
wine
so
production facility, just different vineyards.
Okay. And then they don't even bundle their balloon rides with their winery? They don't have those
They don't
captured-
market it well enough. They don't market it well enough, and I think they should be more aggressively bundled.
I mean, they have those customers in a balloon basket and they can't get away.
Yeah, and Vendimia Winery, granted, Vendimia Winery was started as a place to bring customers who were going on balloon rides. So it's not like the thought process isn't there. I just don't think they've quite executed it to the capacity that it should be.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. You guys are done. Group number 2.
Hi, so last week we were just a brief overview about the retail stores and the product we want to do the suggestions. And then this week we go in a deeper analysis and a more detail in suggestions.
Okay.
And Jessica, can you pull up the slide, please? Thank you.
Yes, I'm on it.
So, hi everyone. We are group 2. So, based on Jennifer said that this week we're gonna do more like a product recommendation within the store, physical store we did for last week. So, first of all, we analyzed the 2 categories for water sport, and the first one is for the pool and toys. So, indexed. It's a top industry, so the market project to hit the most vesting of the floating goods on the ship, accounting for 55%. Jessica, I think next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, so accounting for over 55% of the total water goods for the index. So, and we find out the best-selling index products is based on the low inventory on the ship, and then we ask the staff, and it's Crystal, Pool, and Rainbow 2 products, and the price is the lowest one. It's set up like $9.99, and it means like a customer are willing to pay with affordable price, rather than a functional or a dedicated like higher price of index goods. And the next category is a water fitness goods. Also, it's a sunlight concentration on. So actually, Speedo is the well-known firm playing the like Dominic roles, offering also like certain items of the water fitness within the entire water sport section on the store. Actually, we did a research. It's like the customer feedback is like it's very functional and premium package to attract customer awareness and raise the purchase intention. And for our recommendation is like Sunlight should make an interest to a Dick's of retail, because there's a good chance that Sunlight can do the offline, and because as the people will go to the Dick's in general, they may focus on seeking something professional sports goods compared to chain like supermarket or pharmacy. And we can use a strategy is a bundle pricing with affordable price and make it the products more like unique like value proposition. Okay, next slide, please.
The other stores that we visit, it was Costco. So Costco has a section, a specific section for water spray products in only one area. The water spray products category is very small compared to all the products they have. They have tanners, sunscreens, speedos, pool cleaners, but the sports products is small. They have different products such as floatable chairs, pool noodles, spray pool, and sprinkle pads. They have mainly 4 brands, which are Big Joe with a 42.85% of presence, and then H2O to go with 28.57, and then Cascade Mountain with 14.29, and Aqua with 14.29 too. So the prices range between $14.99 to $37.90. All of the products are family friendly. They can be used by kids or by adults. So that's why for Costco, we recommend this like sofa, like floatable chair. We suggest is a space theme, because most Americans, from kids to adults, like space things related. Ideally, the canopy would be removable, and it could give a sense of like an astronaut helmet.
And we also go to Target, and so Target has a lot of water products from the brand Sun Squat, including inflatables, water slides, and small toys. And we compare Target with Walmart. Walmart has water products mainly below $20, and Target has a higher price range, which is mainly below $40. And we think that people are more willing to like spend more on higher quality products at Target. So for Target, we recommend you to produce like higher quality or like more creative products to Target. Next, please.
So based on what I say for the product recommendation for the Dicks, I think like this item is very recommend for the Sunlights to develop for like a new item, but based on this product. So because this item is a 3D family pool, so this is a very cool idea of printing by 3D, like a pattern within the internal bottom of the pool, and with like 3D goggles for the children to be like combo package. As for the designs, could switch the different image or the patterns, color change something from additional insight. So it can make like children feel fresh and enjoy it compared to like regular pool. Next
You're
slide.
at 6 minutes. Is that it? You're at 6 minutes.
Okay. So the next product, Jessica, can you play the video?
Yes.
Okay, so this product, the idea has come from a light up golf ball, and then it's like when you hit it, the ball will light up in like different colors, And then we take this idea into the current product we already have, which is the light up pedal set. And then we basically just make the bowl like with the light up function. And yeah, that's all. Next, please.
Yeah, it's freezing because of the video.
Okay. Well, let's not play the video. You're already at 7 minutes. Okay. So is that beer pong?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So would go to your first 3 slides. When you start comparing the different companies.
Yeah, it's just my computer's is slow because the internet and like everything.
Okay. So when you're comparing a lot of different information like that, and you're presenting it to somebody, it's a lot better to do it in like a model or like a grid or some visual thing that they can actually see and compare directly to each other, as opposed to putting it on different slides. So something that you have on 3 or 4 slides, you can do on 1 or 2. And then also your customer, your client, excuse me, will be actually able to see, they'll be able to compare, okay, this is Dick's, this is Target's, this is Walmart, this is ITEX or Intex. And they can see and directly correlate what the price is, what the market share is, and the different product. So that would be something that would be beneficial to your client. They'd be able to take one look at it and know all the differences between the different products in the different stores. Okay.
Okay.
Other questions? Anybody else have any questions? Other than that, good presentation. Not that that was bad. It's just that. Oh, here's your video.
Yeah, it would light up when it hits something. It would light up.
All right. All right. Thank you. Group number 2. All right, group number 3, you're up. So group number 3, how's your client doing? Are they going to take any of your recommendations, or are they still going to be a pain in the butt?
We haven't talked to them since I think it was a couple weeks ago. Our plan was to get in touch with them by next week, but we were thinking maybe we'd push that to the 3rd so we can give them all of the deliverables we're looking to have.
Okay.
We're hoping so, though. Right, we'll present them right now.
Can you see my screen though? Hello?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
And you can hear me clearly?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just need feedback that I'm being heard.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I am Manye DF Young, and we're again 3 group consultants. And over the past 7 weeks, we've been working with your organization, trying to come up with strategies to improve your revenues. After analyzing your business model and doing some market research, we have come up with the following recommendations distilled into marketing, fundraising, when and how to apply for grants, and performance measurement. I'll be handing over to my colleague Felicia right about now to walk you through each of these recommendations in turn. Over to you, Felicia.
All right, thank you so much, Nadine. So the results from our so I'll be talking about the marketing activities, and I'll look at the websites, how to improve the website. So the results from our survey showed that there could be some improvements made to your company's website that will boost awareness and increase your customer base. From the survey results, about 82% of respondents were not aware that scuba diving can improve mental health. 45% were also unaware of the different services that the company offers aside from scuba diving. And 54% of respondents did not automatically know that these services are provided for free. So we suggest you make changes to the website in order to effectively and clearly communicate all of this important information. Also, looking at the marketing materials, we all know that marketing is critical for the success of any business, as it is the primary form of communication between a company and its customers. However, during our analysis, we noticed that your company does not have enough marketing resources to communicate its message. And this explains its low presence in the industry. We suggest you implement customer interest form and an informational postcard such as flyers, banners to increase your market reach. Business, okay, thank you. So looking at fundraising activities, when we talk about fundraising, the two most important factors are location and the budget. Now, location can be define the date of the event and the activities that can be done as well. The budget is equally important because the more the expenditure, the more money needs to be raised in order to record profit from the event. Characteristics of good location can be one that is closer to shopping malls, grocery stores, drugstores, and etc. Also, reaching a target audience can often be difficult to do. Research shows that the best way to increase outreach for a fundraiser is through the following channels. That is raffles, t-shirt fundraising, crowdfunding, matching gifts, walkathons, peer-to-peer fundraising, and others. Okay, all right. Also, during one of our meetings with you, you mentioned your interest for getting more unrestricted funds as compared to restricted grants. However, finding unrestricted grant to apply for can be a challenge. We recommend that you constantly check or sign up to grant websites such as California Grant Watch, Grant GOPA, and California Primary Care, etc. As these organizations constantly post grants related to the mental health industry. So Anadi will continue with the other recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Felicia. Our final recommendation has to do with performance tracking and reporting. And it's particularly important for nonprofits since performance is inextricably linked to fundraising, as donors would want constant reassurance that their donations are being effectively utilized. It would also help in terms of making programming decisions, and that's one area where your organization has unfortunately been lacking. Well, we've identified 5 key metric categories that you can track, things around the quality of your training, customer satisfaction, the level of engagement your organization has with the customer segment, and these metrics would satisfy or would speak to 2 different categories of audiences, both your management team and external stakeholders. To this end, well, we've developed a program assessment survey that would be issued out to past participants to collect the data that will be necessary for these to track these key metrics. Also, and by way of for ease of reference, we're also recommending that you maintain and develop a dashboard that would both capture these metrics and would also be used to effectively communicate your business performance, both to your management team and to external stakeholders. By way of next steps, and still on the issue, we will be developing a template for a dashboard that you could potentially deploy, and as feedback and responses from the assessment we've issued out to past participants begin to chime in, we'll be issuing those results to you as proof of concept of the assessment template. And the final weeks, as we're approaching the final weeks of our engagement, we'll be issuing a final report that sort of aggregates everything we've accomplished and worked with you on achieving. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Do you have any questions?
Of course we have questions. All right, 5.5 minutes, good. So not too far over. My question to you guys is, if this was your company, what would you do?
So okay.
Go on.
Go ahead.
So the first thing, and by way of the recommendations we are making with them, is we have issued out.
No, I don't want to hear about your recommendations. I want to hear what you would do.
if I were the management team of the company, the first thing I would be doing is to fully understand where I am at. And that's the issue why we brought up the tracking your performance, finding out what the cost of acquiring one donor is, and trying to see how to reduce that cost, that customer donor acquisition cost, and also effectively communicating the performance. Because one thing we've realized is that because they're not able to effectively communicate their program impact, they're not able to get donors who are willing to donate to them. So that's the first thing, being able to understand that what impact we are making in the community, and being able to communicate that to potential donors. That will be the first thing first, is understanding our impact and communicating that effectively to potential donors. The next thing we'll do is
okay,
also
that's good, Annie. That's good. So if this was my company, I would close the doors. You know, because the guy running it is basically
it's not yours.
Well, he's retired, right? And he doesn't depend on this company for money.
No, he's not.
So, but so that makes it very difficult. So he's going to take about half of what you're saying to heart, and the other half he's going to say, "Oh, we don't need that."
Maybe, but I think that he has heart in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he really wants to do this more for people in his professional community than anything. I don't know if he's really in it so much for the money. I mean, I think when we've talked to him, he said that, you know, he would like to at least have something come through, so he doesn't feel like all of his energy is just being drained into it. But I think he has more heart in it than really.
Yeah, and a lot of it too is pride. Some people, especially somebody who creates a company, they don't want to admit that they can't make it work, or failure, or that they're not making money doing it. So a lot of that's that. So I want you guys to understand that all your consulting jobs are all your consulting gigs are kind of playing the whole gambit of what can actually happen during a real consulting things. You know, sometimes you're not going to be successful. Sometimes you're going to be very successful, and then you're going to do everything in between. Sometimes they just want you to do some busy work for them. Like the group that's coming up next, they're probably just going to be doing busy work, making manuals and doing stuff for the company. You know, and I don't know, did they even ask you how to do manuals or how to do policies and procedures? They just telling you this is what we need, go ahead and do it for group number 3A?
Yeah, they didn't go over the specifications with us, so they gave us the freedom to kind of craft it.
Okay, so they don't care about learning how to do some of these things. They just want you to do it for them. That's pretty much it. So you guys are going to see the whole gambit of things. Group number 9, they can barely talk to their client because they're so busy. They're in a very large corporation. They're very busy. They don't have the time to sit down and talk with them on a regular basis. And many of your groups are like that. So pay attention, because we've actually almost hit every single type of situation that you're going to come across in a consulting, or even in, even dealing in a large company. A lot of these things happen in large companies or different departments and everything else. So, all right, so just keep that in mind as you kind of wrap up the end of this class. And, I really hope you guys get a real takeaway, that everybody's business is different. Everybody's going to do things a little bit differently. And sometimes it's going to be successful and sometimes it's not. And there's nothing you can do about it, especially if you're not in control. Like when I asked Anita, how do you pronounce your name again? Anita?
Better.
Okay. So, he went on, when I asked him what he would do if this was his company, he knows the company should close, but he just kept on going because he thought that's what I wanted to hear. And that, that's not really what I wanted to hear. I wanted him to have the balls to say, yeah, we should just close the company.
Well, I don't agree.
You don't agree?
No.
But you agree that the battle that you're coming up against is a very hard battle to win.
Yeah, it's tough. It's difficult, but since it's not a for-profit organization, if it were a for-profit organization, I'd recommend that it close.
Yeah.
But it's more like it's an avenue to give back, and that's the feeling we've always gotten from him every time we've spoken. So yeah.
But unfortunately, when he gets too old to keep doing this, that company's just going to go away. He's not setting himself up for success to pass it along to somebody else, or for somebody else to take it or build it big enough to where a CEO can run the company, or just replace the CEO or head people. So that's one of the problems with that type of company.
Wow.
All right, Group 3A, you're up.
Can you see the slides?
Yes.
All right.
You're not in presentation mode.
Presented, Majid.
How about now?
Yeah, now it's good.
Okay. Yeah. Hi. So first, we would like to share with you the good news. We have completed all the required meetings with the department heads, and we have some new findings we want to share with you. And also, we would like to provide you with some strategies that we think it will improve Masami Sushi operations, and it will increase its profitability. So continuing with the strategies we shared with you last week. So strategy number 7 is to build a share of wallet. This you can exhibit raw material, the fresh seafood and sushi rice in the restaurants. This will increase or will help increase the reliability between customers and Masami Sushi. And also, it will relieve the stress of storing fresh seafood, because we heard this over and over from the department heads. There's this problem when ordering too much. Some of the seafood get perished. So a new way of avoiding cost on the seafood that's going to waste is to provide opportunity for customer to buy the food material that they like, so it will not go for waste. And for strategy number 8, the shift to the sweet spot. This to sell high margin sushi dishes that are uniquely crafted, visually appealing, and provide new experience to the customers. And also to roll out new innovative strategies to boost profitabilities. And we would suggest that you consider adopting the omakase style of the menu, and import import the raw ingredients from local sources. And for strategy number 9, leveraging your core competencies, we found that Masami Sushi has 2 very strong core competencies. That is the backward integration of supplying the sushi restaurant equipment, and also the customized sushi dishes. So you can leverage these 2 core competencies to even optimize your supply chain. And we suggest that you also can do backward integration by becoming a specialized local seafood supplier for sushi restaurants. So try the local seafood, because in Saudi Arabia, it's known for its high quality seafood. So it might be a very good idea, and a whole new market might be out there if you implement this using local seafood into your sushi dishes. And also continuous innovation by creating new dishes. And maybe for this new localized seafood sushi dishes, we suggest that you add a new section in your menu for this new localized seafood dishes. And now Omar will continue from here.
Thank you, Majid. With continuing with our meeting with the head departments, on May 19th, we met with the operation management department manager and partner, and he has like a big concern with access to use a petty cash on the department. Since he managed all the branches, he has a very difficulty when something like broken on the branches or when the ingredients become shortage. It's difficult to get it like immediately. They need to get approval from accounting department to get the money. And sometimes they need to send some employee to the main office to take the credit card and buy the stuff. And after that, back for the credit card and back again to the branches, which take about 3 to 4 hours to do this, which is very difficult to do that on the branches because sometimes you need the ingredients or the something to fix in 30 minutes or 1 hour. This is the big problem. And the other problem, the process very slow when they want to get something approval. If they face anything on the branches or something like that, and also as emergency, you need to get like very long process to get this approval to like the CEO and take some time, 9 to 10 days, and they ask for many offer from a different supplier to get this, and sometimes it's back again to ask for like a lower price from another supplier. This is also the big problem. And lack of employee in the branches, all of them has the same issue actually. Next slide, please. And on May 3rd, we met with the business development manager, Mr. Adel, and he has a big concern. He is a single employee on this department. He has many tasks to do. First of all, ownership of opening new branches, quality control of branches, design standard, and he needs to do all of these by himself. The second one, the inability for a business development manager to focus on strategizing and identifying investment opportunity to grow the business, and lack of employee also in the branches as the other problem. And the big problem in this department, he couldn't handle all of these tasks by himself. Next slide, please. Thank you for listening. Any question?
Of course there's questions. You didn't think I was going to let you off that easy, did you? No, this is another group. I give them about a 50-50 chance of succeeding. Not because they are doing anything bad, they're actually doing all the right things. It's because of the company that they're dealing with has been doing the same thing for a very long time, and they're going to have a very difficult time implementing change. And they do need to fundamentally change the way they're doing things. Would you agree with my assessment on that?
Yeah, actually, we will do our best to try to convince them this is like, it's not a good way to make it, but we don't know if that will work or not.
Yeah. So what are your odds on them succeeding with your ideas?
I think there is a good chance for succeeding because they are not like very old company, so they started small and now they're expanding. So there are new employees coming in. So not all the employees will be like, from the old generation, let's say. So the new employees might be more flexible to adapt to these new changes.
Okay.
Yeah, also they affected from the COVID-19, Professor, because they rely heavily on bringing employees from outside of the country. But when the COVID-19 hit the country, they closed the border and they couldn't bring more employee to the company. This is a big problem for them.
Yeah, I would like to add a quick one, Professor. We see a lot of enthusiasm when we conclude the meetings. They say, okay, this is our problems. Please help us, give us instructions how to do it. Give us this list of rules and or responsibilities. So there is enthusiasm. I'm not sure about whether they implement it or not, but I agree with you. Maybe it's 50-50.
Yeah, there's always good enthusiasm, and you're doing the right things. It's just really, really hard to change, especially when you've been doing things the same way for 5, 6, 7 years. Even though the company's not that old, it's still they've been doing things the same way since they started. So, but no, I think you guys have been doing a good job so far. All right. Any other questions? All right. Group number 4.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen right now.
All right.
Can everyone see that?
Yep.
Awesome. Hello, Alex. Thank you for meeting with us again. I think our last meeting was quite informative, and will definitely help with like how we've been progressing so far in terms of like where we should have the company head towards. So before I begin, I just want to congratulate you again on the deal that you closed, in which you contracted with a home builder in Missouri, which accounted, I think you said, about $250,000 worth of product to him. And I also want to congratulate you again on the product that you're about to launch, the Veil Cast, which you said would be coming in within these next few weeks. Now, with all that aside, we just kind of want to go a little bit over like some of the things that you mentioned in the last meeting that we find may be a challenge when you launch this product. So first, we want to acknowledge some of the logistical challenges that you brought to us, to our attention, and one of them being the shipping and just the overall supply chain issue that you kind of brought to the light. So you mentioned in the last meeting that you said that the pricing for the containers that are within the ships have actually been increasing in price. And you had said something it had to do with like some of the logistical issues that had been happening since back in December, which affected the overall supply chain around the world. And as you kind of state that you were pretty confident that you can still sell the same amount of units that you would hope to, and still achieve that kind of goal of attaining about $100 million per year within the 5-year span that you want to achieve as a goal. We feel that this might be a challenge that you might have to look into and consider as well. And you also brought up the issue with the inflation rate that has been kind of hitting the U.S. markets lately, and that could potentially be an issue that you might also want to consider as well. Even though I know that you're quite confident that you'll still be having a good run with the product you're about to launch, we also want to take into account any issues that customers may have in terms of their price sensitivity if the pricing of everything keeps rising, as you say.
So as for the marketing strategies, it looks like the main focus of your company is USA market right now, and the majority of international sales and marketing is outsourced to the agency AVMER. We recommend that your company allocate more budget towards international market and get more involved in the international marketing to better penetrate into the international construction market. As for the domestic market, you told us that you hired someone to generate marketing, video content, and manage social media marketing, but the performance was not as per the expectations. So, as alternate strategy, we propose that keeping performance priority in mind, outsourcing this aspect of the marketing would be more effective and would give a better performance and be more flexible in terms of commitment when compared to hiring someone. And lastly, you should target to double your marketing expense around 280,000 compared to your spending in 2019. This will have a positive effect on your overall sales, plus is very critical for a better product launch for Veilcast. Next. I mean, but that one before.
Yeah, Randy, go back a slide for me. With the incoming sale of the Veil amp that you made to the home builder in Missouri, we're able to provide an updated sales projection. So as we've noted previously, you sealed the Tim Holmes order for $2.2 million. That's 6,000 units of the Veil amp at $250 each. And then the builder from Missouri, that's $250,000 just in amps only. They weren't interested in buying speakers to accompany those apartments that they're building. So a Veil amp total projection for this upcoming year, just based off of those two contracts, is almost 2.5 million. In terms of the Veilcast, you do have the builder from Florida that we previously talked about, who's interested in including speakers in the homes that they're building. It's $60 per speaker, but since there's a pair that go into each one, that's $120. That's a projected revenue of 7.2 million. And then in terms of additional Veilcast units that you're selling, you produced 1,000 in the initial batch and you've already sold 500 of them, even though they're still being shipped over from China. So that's an additional projected revenue of at least $300,000. But there's room to grow there because there's still that additional 500 units, as well as another 2,000 unit order that you placed to be produced. So there is room in terms of revenue to grow further. So this combined revenue for this upcoming year gives you the projection of these 4 contracts of just $9.97 million.
So since throughout our previous meetings, you have highlighted that your primary concern is to reach 100 million in the next 5 years, we wanted to let you know, regardless of the difficulties that you might be facing with the current situation with the global pandemics slowing down or halting your shipments, there are some recommendations that you can still reach your goal in that time frame. For example, your main good is to the construction industry. So once a construction project is scheduled, it's going to be completed regardless of the situation. So your sales will be kind of set in stone. For example, you have recently acquired a new account with the builder in Missouri. So on this account, regardless of the recent 13% increase in taxes that you stated, you can still make a profit by getting that 30% down payment from that builder ahead of time. Additionally, another recommendation that we have that you can utilize to reach your goal is to work with your international marketing agency. So you were currently working with a UK marketer that you met through Facebook, who has around 4,500 construction companies under his belt. So sending samples to him or sending testing samples so that he can implement your product into his construction companies will lead to more construction contracts and partnerships, and it can further help you develop your sales and generate more revenue.
All right, thank you. So you've been to Missouri, have you? Missouri? It is kind of miserable.
I don't know. I think I've technically driven by there before, but not really.
I know. So where's your, go back to your slide.
Yes.
To your 1 year slide, $10 million. No.
$10 million? This one?
No, next one. There you go, $9.97 million. So that's what they're going to do in sales this year, right? Or is that last year's?
No,
number?
so like this is upcoming post Veilcast being released at the end of the month.
Okay, so what is this time frame in this projection? You don't have a time frame here.
So the time frame is really through the end of like the upcoming 2021 year. So he does each one on a yearly basis. So this is the projection for the rest of the year.
Okay, so how much is his sales growing over the last 5 years?
I don't have the exact number on that. It's in the financial statements, but they're growing exponentially. So for example, this builder from Missouri, the $250,000 one, that's already eclipsed like the max that he sold in Veil amps before in a year, just on that contract alone.
So how has he grown for the last 3 years? Do you even know that information?
I'm not too sure on like the exact percentage.
Okay, how much is the industry growing over the last 5 years? The housing industry, the projects he's putting these machines into, or these speakers in.
I can answer that. So the industry is growing at 3.1% annually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the industry is growing at 3.1%, but he's capturing more of the business due to what factors?
So according to the the statement released by the federal government in March of 2021, they had so the projected housing in 2020 for the upcoming year were 1.2 million houses, but when they calculated the houses actually built in the entire year, it exceeded their expectations by 16%, and I think there were over 1.6 million houses that were built. I think if I'm not wrong, but I remember it was 16%. So due to that, unaccounted growth, which was, I think, because of the cost reduction due to the pandemic, in some of the raw materials, I think there were more houses built. So I think that is where he captured that market, I feel, because they built more home than they predicted. So
okay, so he has this deal. This deal is worth $10 million, right?
So yeah, these are 3 different deals.
Okay, so these are 3 different deals that he did this year.
Yeah.
Okay, what did he do last year?
Last year he did 2.2 million total.
Okay, so what did he? Do you know what he did the year before that? Probably $1 million or so.
I think it was like 1.9-ish or 1.8.
All right, so you need to come out with a 5-year projection to see what he needs to do to reach the $100 million. You're doing a client a big disservice not being able to give him a 5-year projection.
Yeah.
So if he wants to reach $100 million, you got to show him the numbers to get there.
Yeah, that's basically what our end goal is, especially for the last final project. And like we even told him that like after like these next 2 weeks, we should have like already the set concrete plan that like he should be following for the next 5 years to attain that.
Okay, and then the disruption of the logistics, that's happening in every industry.
Yeah, so we kind of like talked a lot about that in the last meeting, and he didn't really sound that like concerned about it. And I mean, I'm hoping there isn't too much concern about that. I still feel like he should be like preparing for the worst, though.
Well, the problem with the industry, with the housing industry and the building industry, they're actually kind of used to that. They're actually used to a lot, 30-month, 60-month delays, because that's very common, especially with the price of lumber. A 90-day delay in the price of lumber can probably triple your cost. So those are issues that happen quite often in that industry, and even more so right now with the way things are. Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? All right. Group number 5, 6. Where are we at? Group number 5, Salita.
Hi, we're group number 5. This week we take the labor cost into consideration.
Yeah, put that into presentation mode, please. There we go.
Okay, next page, please. Yes. When we take a deeper look into the labor cost when implementing the flea market as a strategy, we have to understand the time and money it's going to take to get started. Our fixed costs are $90. The average selling price per item is $32, and the break-even point is 11 items. Last week, when we calculate Salita's break-even point, the business has to sell at least 11 items to break-even point at the flea market, and we are expecting our total revenue of sales to be $352. Now we have to take into consideration the labor cost when implementing this recommendation. The average sales associated at a brick and mortar store in Riverside, California makes $12 hourly. $12 hourly, since vendors have to be at the copy swap meet around 5 a.m. to set up the pack and to leave by 3 p.m. is around 10 hours of labor. Furthermore, labor costs are $120 for the day. When we take into consideration the other cost, we need to add up the labor cost with other fixed costs together, which result in $210. Next, please. As seen on the table, the total number of items need to be sold comes to 24.71 to break-even point, which means at least 25 items need to be sold in real condition. Since Kobe's Web Meat is known for sneakers and vintage clothing, we believe it will be a good opportunity for Solita to showcase its vintage jeans along with their other boutique item. This will give them another opportunity to attract and engage with more customers at their booth. We believe if you plan to restock these items and include them into your inventory, it can increase your revenue and profit overall the Web Meat. Next, please. As well as focusing on Instagram, we suggest that Solitables put more attention on TikTok. Nowadays, the short video business model is very popular. It greatly take advantage of the impulse of consumption. Solita can grab this opportunity because any users can open its own online shop under his or her TikTok ID, and it's totally for free. It can reduce the cost of opening an online shop. Solita can post its new arrival videos and also purchase line on TikTok. If customers are interested in the clothing, they can buy at once. As for the price for the clothes, we suggest Solita to offer its TikTok followers their own discount codes such as TikTok 15. This is the same percentage Solita offers her Instagram followers too. So implementing a code for this network will not decrease the company's profit. We believe this could stimulate customers to purchase on TikTok more directly and create a bigger followings on this application. Next, please.
Okay, thank you, Kiki. So according to flea market competition, so Solita have an advantage in terms of pricing because Solita charges less and offers discount code. And we recommend that Solita increase product line for flea market because we found that buyers tend to trust sellers who have more inventory and do not trust tables that have few products. So last but not least, we found that people are less likely to approach and shop at tables that are nearly empty. Next. Thank you.
Okay. So in the next 5 years, you think they're going to hit $100 million?
No.
Okay. Now, has any of you from your group gone to the flea market to actually do any reconnaissances on what other people are selling at the flea market and how many units are selling?
No, we have not because they barely like reopened back up because of COVID.
Okay.
But I'm looking into it because I want to go for myself to see what's around there. But I'm not too sure if we will have enough time to actually go and see. Yeah.
How much of a difference did that 1 day's labor cost make as far as digging into the profits and making it harder to break even?
It made a lot, because she would have to sell more clothing, like maybe I think about like 12 more items to even break even.
Yeah. So as opposed to going to work at some place and making $120 a day, she's going to have to stand at the flea market and try and sell all those clothes just to make up for that, right?
Yeah.
Did she realize that at the beginning?
No, she didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So opportunity cost is there. They just have to realize it.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Let's take a 15-minute break and reconvene at 8:45.